Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. We're um, we're here in your element. I'm Ardis Kadiu, CEO and founder of Element451, and with me is Erin Newton, head of marketing. Good morning, Erin.
Good morning, Ardis. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. We have a great show for you today, talking all about landing pages and content marketing. I'm not in my usual setup today, so probably that's why my contour is not as sharp. But Erin will be kind of guiding us through and sharing her screen today, and we'll be talking about landing pages. We'll be talking about what that means for a lot of our schools and what it means for having really great landing pages that convert, and how integrating those with your CRM is kind of a key component to having really great marketing integration. So with that, what do you say we get it started?
I love it. Yeah, just a fun fact, Ardis and I go back to before landing pages even existed. And we used to just, everything was websites and it was really complicated and involved. And now landing pages really, they kind of save the day. They're kind of much more targeted, can be much more thoughtful and intentional about bringing all of your marketing collateral together. So gotta love landing pages.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to keep in mind is as marketing and websites have become more and more complex, one of the things that marketers, and especially admissions offices and kind of program specific marketing, has gone towards putting these landing pages together around digital media campaigns. So every campaign that you're running, every digital media campaign that you're running, you're driving somebody to a digital destination, to a landing page, and they need to be able to be put up very quickly, and they need to be able to have really compelling content that matches those ads. So if we think about that, then it becomes the number one requirement on having a landing page system or a landing page builder, or is the ability for us to very quickly build these landing pages, copy, build them, and kind of edit some of the content and make sure that they are optimized for mobile, and they're optimized for the digital ads as well. So with that being said, what we're going to show you today is kind of a few different mechanisms and a few different ways that Element handles landing pages. And we have built our landing pages from the ground up because we needed to have something very robust, kind of fit right into the CRM, that integrates with our forms, that integrates with UTM Variables, with Google Tag Manager, that integrates with with our Messenger. So essentially, and kind of have a personalized way of handling the data as well. So what you're seeing here, and Erin, I'm going to stop there for a second to see if you have any other insights around kind of the, why somebody would use, or why a school would need to have a landing page builder integrated into their CRM as part of their strategy.
Sure, absolutely. So it really, if you think about the flow between you're doing a campaign and you have your ads up and they're great, you worked a lot on the copy, people are clicking them, and then the next step needs to be even more solid for them. And you need to present your messaging in a new way, a little bit expanded, and you want to follow through on whatever the promise was of that ad. So, and then from there, you have your landing page, and then you want to convert, and you want to make sure each of those steps is in total unison. And you may have heard a lot about friction and that getting in the way of a user experience. And so when we think about landing pages in Element, that's what we are trying to do. That's why you want it all in one place. So the points where things might get rough around the edges or not the best experience, we try to eliminate that as much as possible. And also, if you're a content person or a marketer person, you don't want to spend all this time every time you build a landing page on, is that the right button? Does that work? Should this be up here or this or down here? And you really want to just deliver on those messaging points. So that's what Element, when we built it, we're like, let's take out all of that guesswork, all that stuff that takes like committees to decide on one image, and let's just make it as quick to put together as possible. So you're really focusing on that prospective student or current student, and their experience is just seamless. And on the other side, you get what you need. You have your, this ad worked, this one isn't, all my recent conversions are coming from here, because you can do all the tracking.
Yeah, that's great. So rather than us keep talking about it, let's just show a few things. So here's for a lot of you probably are familiar with recruiting to prospective students in high school. So we're talking about sophomore, juniors, even freshmen. Usually the call to action for these types of campaigns is give us some information, fill in an inquiry form, and then we will send you more information, keep you up to date as part of those campaigns. Usually when you do a senior search campaign, you're driving those people to a particular application, right? So whereas if they're not ready for the application yet, you're driving them to these landing pages so they can update their information. So as we look at that Howard one, the first one that we saw, if we look at it, Erin, as an anonymous user, one of the things that you're going to see in here is that it says update your information. It says get my guide, to get a guide or a brochure or something like that. And then you can see that the content is really nicely set up. You can fill in the form, but what becomes even more interesting is if we send the student there with a pre-populated link already. So as the student goes in here, now we have this personalized URL that they go to, and we have a little bit of information in there about them. Jamie Smith, we have the email. That person can now update their information or just click get my guide, and then boom, we're set to go, right? So if they want to update their information, this is pre-populated already, and it's just a magic link. So it becomes really, really important to have all of these personalization in there, to have this content ready. And if we look over there in this page, if we can just go side by side here so we can take a look at the full screen. Here we go. So one of the things that you notice in here is that also at the right hand side, we have embedded our, and Erin, just click on one of those conversations in there. What we have here is that we have embedded our messenger as part of this landing page. We know exactly who the person is, so we can now tie in the messages that we're these conversations from the landing page directly with that person in the CRM. So you can see how everything kind of fits together, right? It's the same unique experience. Person comes in, they update their information. They might have a question. They're coming up during that visit, and then we're capturing that intent and we're capturing that conversation through that messenger as well. So all around great landing page for specific that campaign. Now, graduate schools do a lot of landing pages as well, and this is something that we've done through in the past, and this is Icon Medical School, so at Mount Sinai. And one of the things they do is they're obviously marketing their this is a sample page, but what they do is a graduate school. So what they're doing is they're driving folks to their landing pages, and if you click discover more here really quick, now this takes you to that form, right? So rather than showing up that form right on the top, let the student get a little bit more intent. And what you're seeing here is a very, very simple form, but what you need to be able to do is have a progressive way of capturing information. So 3 fields, and this is our recommendation if you're going to do any landing pages, please, please, please do not overwhelm somebody with multiple fields. So in Element, what we're able to do is we capture the information in a first primary form, and then when you click on it, now of course, we have to have our CAPTCHAs in there because we know that there's been a lot of bots and things like that. So the second form what we're showing in here is actually a second step to that form, but we've already captured their first name and email, so we can start communicating to them, and now they can give us a little bit more information going forward. Now, this can become really easy to set up on the element side. It's very, very simple. You know, we have the same form, and you can kind of swap them and embed them however you want. There we
Yeah, I
go.
think that's pretty key, is one of the things we've learned over the years. The most successful forms are the shortest forms. So, and it's, goes back to, it's about the student and not the school's process. So yes, we
Exactly.
need all of that info, but we need to do it in a way that's, as easy on the student as possible. Don't want any hoops that they, are unnecessary. We can always gather that other bit of information. If it's not here in the progressive form, then it's in another stage. So it should always be, what is the best experience for the student when kind of deciding, do I really need that information at this point? Probably not. You just need those essential details.
Yeah, exactly. And just to be very clear on that friction point, any additional field you add to your form, there is a huge percentage drop in the conversion rate. So think about it that way. You add an additional field or two or three, your conversion rate goes tremendously down. So keep it as simple as possible. Now, thinking about keeping it as simple as possible is because also students are not going to these landing pages on their desktop. So they might be going to them through mobile, and most of the time they're going to them through mobile. So having landing pages that look great on mobile, and here is a view of that same Howard landing page here, so you can see how it looks like on mobile. You need to be able to have something that looks great both on mobile and desktop, and of course. One of the things that you want to be able to do is they need to quickly fill in that form, right?
Right.
So that's why we want to keep that as small as possible, so they can quickly go through it. Now, the last one, the last landing page that we're going to have here, and we're going to kind of go through and kind of show you a quick peek at how we've thought and how Element builds these landing pages, kind of the content and the modules, or the content blocks. But here's one. Simo, they're using this one. It's a pretty content heavy landing page, so they're using it as very informational one, and it's great because they can very quickly change the content in here. They can track those students, and they can drive them here to get more information that perhaps was not possible on an email or as part of their campaign. Also, if your website is not as in sync or maybe not up to date with certain pieces of content, you can use these landing pages as supplemental destinations to drive students to, if you don't have a lot of, if you don't have a fast pacing movement on the development of those on the website itself. So here it is. This is it's called a view book kind of landing page, and it has a lot of content about it with a form here at the end. Obviously, this form is very different, right? So this is a sample, but we can go back to the editor, and now we can see how we're able to modify, and how Element from the beginning we've actually built this whole landing page builder from the ground up to fit our use cases. And one of the things that we've done is actually add, from our experience of a decade and a half plus on building landing pages, we've come up with all of the permutations of content and modules that are needed, and have made them configurable. So all you need to do is you can add, let's add, for example, we can add a video, or you can add a pre-populated teaser or call to action. So remember, Erin mentioned before, like, well, you don't have to think about, where do I add the button? Do I add to the left, to the right? Well, we've thought about that, right? So we can give you different configurations, but ultimately we can add a quick There we go. So we can add a quick one, and you can see that we can, if we customize that really quick, we can move it up or down. If we customize it, you can kind of change. Exactly. We can just drop the link in there. We can make it full screen, center. So all of these configurations that we have, we can now go back to the elements component and, kind of turn off the headline, turn it on. So all of these are meant to be very configurable to your content, right? And to kind of fit the school brand as well. One of the things that you can do, Erin, if we go to, let's say that header, or let's go to one other, for example, let's go to a component. Here we go. So that header component, and we can kind of click on those images. You can see now that if we scroll down, we would have different versions of images as well. I think that's on the, for example, if we go all the way up to one of the main headers, if we see a background image, there we go. So we have now a background image there. There we go. So we can customize this, and then if you see that background image, we have different versions. And if you can put us side by side so we can see that content really quick. There we go. So you can see now that these images become so powerful, but sometimes cropping doesn't always work. So we need an ability to add another image that's going to be displayed for kind of a narrower width, and then another image for mobile. So essentially, you're kind of art directing that component, and we've built that into the landing page builder as well. So it makes it really, really easy to do that. A couple other things in here which are really interesting is this media manager. If you just go to upload one really quick, Erin, sure. And rather than uploading it, if you can select Unsplash. So for those of you who don't know what Unsplash is, sometimes you just need some sample images, or you need some images that are really, really quick. So let's search for whatever. There we go. So campus. Obviously, you're going to have your own campus shot, but we might want to search for, I don't know, some really quick, let's say a desk, or let's say I don't know, football. There we go. So these are pretty generic images in here. So let's select one of those images, and this just, if you click on the select button rather than just clicking on it, there we go. So it just uploads that from Unsplash. Unsplash is a royalty-free destination for images, and you can we've integrated it into Element to make it a lot easier for you to kind of grab those images from there, like the stock images, right? So the idea is make it a lot faster for the content building, make it a lot faster for you to manage that content, and to art direct these landing pages. So even if your demanding marketing team wants really beautiful landing pages, you have all the tools that you need in here. Have we missed anything, Erin, around landing pages and kind of what the promise of these are?
I think we've covered a lot of it. I think the idea too with this easy to use editors is you can make multiple pages, and then you're swapping out content. And also, I think when we started talking about this, there's a lot of content here on this page, but it doesn't feel overwhelming because things are broken out. There's never two walls of text. It's like all the best practices of how people use the web to use content. It's all baked in, which I think makes it smaller teams. You might not have a marketer on staff all the time, and going to have an agency is expensive, and also can be it's time consuming. So that speed to just, you find your number of best, major or most popular major changes. You can change that in 1 second. There's nothing holding you back from staying up to date and current.
Yeah, exactly. One of the questions from Terrence is it possible to link landing pages? Yes, it's possible to link them to each other. They all get their own unique URL. So now you can have, for example, hey, here is page 1, page 2, page 3, however you want to link them to each other. But the idea here is that these is not meant to replace a website, but it is meant to replace, kind of become a destination for this single purpose kind of campaign as well. And of course, links, everything in here is it's kind of tied in through links. You can add links throughout the page. So this one, if you click on academics or affordability on those top links right there, Erin, on the header, it should take you to the individual section specifically. There you go. So it kind of scrolls that down. It takes you to that section. So if you want to have, for example, something that looks like a website, this long scrolling content heavy landing pages is another way of displaying those. All right. Well, the last thing I wanted to kind of mention in here is those forms that we build are automatically capturing those UTM variables. So it's really, really easy to set up just a form, and element forms will capture UTM variables automatically. So one of the things that you can go in there and really quick is search for Jamie Smith, right? That's one of the, if you search on the universal search in there, there we go. So if you go, there you go. It seems like you updated the middle name there as well. And if you go to the profile info and the sources section, there we go. And if you go to sources, one of the things that you're going to be able to see, if you scroll down a little bit, you can see this web component in here. So this web source, what it's done is actually, you can see the URL of where that person came from, right? It's a landing page in Element, and it's capturing a form, and you can see all the UTM variables. These are the Google variables. And what we do is we parse those out. So like source, medium, campaign, term, and content. So you can now drive people from your digital media campaign and then feed them into Element. You know exactly where they came from, and you can create segmentation later on, and you can create reporting around this to see which is your most popular campaigns. This is at the individual level, but obviously you can do that at the aggregate level. And as we take a look at this really quick, Erin, if you can just click on that. I don't know if you have insights available to you, but maybe I think we showed that last time with insights and how we're able to do source reporting, but we'll leave that as another teaser for kind of expanding on that a little bit more later as well. All right.
Sounds good.
Well, we went a little bit over today, so hopefully you've gotten a lot of information. And when we talk about we throw in some marketing terms out there like a UTM variable or anything like that. Just a quick Google search on UTM variables might give you some. It stands for some antiquated way of Google tracking those links and kind of seeing where they're coming from. But it's become very standard now to how you track campaigns. Yeah. All
right. That sounds good. Yeah, lots to cover in landing pages, but we try to make it as easy as possible.
All right, everyone. It's great seeing you today. Have a wonderful rest of the week. For those of you who are going to NACAC, we're going to be there as well. I don't know exactly which booth number we are, but please visit us at NACAC. If you're going to Seattle, it should be one of the first conferences is going to be in person. We're looking forward to that, and then we have another great season of conferences this coming next few months. Hopefully, everything turns out for the better, and we're able to kind of meet each other in person. We're coming back on Wednesday with our news show, and I might not be there for this one, so stay tuned, but Erin will be leading the news show this Wednesday.
Thanks, Ardis. And I believe we're at booth 1608. We'll confirm in the show notes. I hope to see you there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.